Story-Hernandez from Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm Story-Tolisano, also from Jacksonville, Florida, and we're here to tell you our amazing story. Go ahead, Andrea.
Our amazing story started in January of 06, 05? No, 08? 08.
A few years ago.
Okay, I had just started my blog, EdTech Workshop, and a colleague of mine had been at a presentation where Sylvia presented, I guess it was the year before, and had mentioned to me this wonderful teacher who presented, and she goes by the name of Languages. And one thing that's amazing about the story is that had I not just started blogging, and I literally just started blogging, I wouldn't have tuned into any of this. So it was just taking that first step on that path that made me even notice that at FETC that year, we were sitting in an extremely large, crowded room.
Smart boards, yes.
One of those overly full presentations, and this person was sitting right next to me, and she was typing away on her laptop, and I'm very nosy, so I was peeking over to see.
Yeah, and I was wondering what this person was doing next to me. I was looking onto my screen while I was blogging on Languages.
And so Sylvia was blogging on Languages, and I thought, oh, that's that teacher from Jacksonville. We had never met. I had only heard of her from this colleague. And so I decided to say hello. And then you tell what happened.
Well, what happened is I couldn't stand it much longer in that session, and I got up and I left. But I did tell her to comment on my blog, so we could be in contact and maybe could visit each other in our different schools that we worked at. And
our school had just got smart boards.
Right. So we left. I left, and
yeah, I left too.
I blogged about the session, and Andrea then left a comment on it. I believe it was her first comment ever, right?
I don't know if it was my first comment ever, but pretty close to it. And again, I don't think I would have, when she said contact me on the blog, I wouldn't have probably known what to do had I not just started blogging.
So that's how we got in contact. She left a comment on the blog. I called her because we were looking into school I was working at, was looking into getting smartboards. They already had smartboards.
Sylvia really encouraged me in blogging, she blogged about me, told people to read my blog. She told me to get onto Twitter, which became a big impetus, and she taught me a lot, and I sort of adopted her as a mentor without telling her, but just really followed her blog, learned a lot from her, and
So really, to get to the amazing story, what happened is that a year later, or was it 2 years later? 2 years later.
It was a year later.
A year later, we
don't know the time.
We met at Starbucks, and one thing led to another, and Andrea really got the wheels going at her school, and the following school year started working as the 21st Century Learning Specialist at her school. So we are colleagues now, and only because of blogs and Twitter and just learning from each other virtually, although we live in the same town.
And the whole story really is amazing. There are more amazing elements, but I kind of laugh when people say that these virtual relationships or connections aren't real, because they're as real as anything, and we're proof of it.
So that's our amazing story.
Here we are.